At this point, you should be familiar with graphing a linear equation in a number of ways, and one of the ways we just learned was using the slope-intercept form of a linear equation. So y equals 5x plus 3. Our slope, in this case, would have been positive 5, and we know to make it into a fraction. And then we knew that our y-intercept, abbreviated with that letter b, was, in this case, a positive 3. And so we would go and we would to our graph and we'd say, hey, here's our y-intercept of positive 3, and we'd go up 5 spaces and over 1 and make the second point, and that let us be able to graph our line. Well, not every single equation that you run into that's linear would actually be set up in a slope-intercept form. So wouldn't it be nice if we could take something like the standard form equation and set it up into slope-intercept? Well, we've actually shown you a couple of different ways in the past to do this. And we called it transforming equations, and basically it was isolating the variable that we wanted all by itself. I want to get this y all by itself, and thankfully it's got a plus sign in there, so that means that positive 1 right there is already positive, and that just reduces our workload. How can I get this x away from it? Well, how about we just subtract x? X minus x is nothing. And so we're left with this positive y over here all by itself. But if we did it to this left side of the equation, we have to subtract x from the right side of the equation. Now, literally, we could write y equals 7 minus x. However, when we started learning these slope-intercept form of the equations, we learned that the slope followed by x or multiplying x came first, and then we are adding on our y-intercept, you know, the b. So how about we just do this? This x should be listed first. What is it? It's negative x. Let's just put it right here. So y equals negative x, so I've taken care of that. And then you see that we had a positive 7 here. Just write plus 7. And we've still transformed the standard form, which was x plus y equals 7, into y equals negative x plus 7. What is my slope? Well, it's negative 1 actually. It's negative 1. And then my y-intercept is, always look at the sign in front of it, positive 7. So that's what we do, and that's an easier equation. So let's actually just pause the video and reset, and I'll show you how to do this again with a different equation. It's kind of easy, and then we'll move into the more complex ones. There we go. X plus y equals 11.5. We'd like to graph it. Well, I know 5 and 6.5 would work, but with that decimal, it kind of makes it a little bit of a pain. So let's just transform it. X minus x is nothing. And then I have to subtract x on this side over here too. So we're left with y equals, let's see, this doesn't have an x, this is the x, we need to put that first, so minus x. Is this positive or negative? It's positive, so I'll just say 11.5. If it said a negative 11.5, I would just put minus 11.5. That's how I would handle that situation if it came up. And then we just need to get our slope. So m equals, let's see, still negative 1, okay. If I need to make it into a fraction, just put a positive 1 under it, and then my y-intercept, 11.5, because again, it's got a plus sign right in front of it, and we're ready to go graph. Okay, you would graph 11.5 on your y-axis, and then you would go down 1 and to the right 1 from your y-intercept point. You've got to use that y-intercept point to start your use of the slope. So that's how we would handle transforming it into the slope-intercept equation, and it would be written as y equals negative x plus 11.5. However, the equations are not always going to be that simple. In fact, I would say the vast majority will not be like that easy standard form equation. It will be more like this. 2x plus 3y equals 4. Yay. How do we handle this? Let's just kind of extend the page up here. Well, I want to get this y right here all by itself, and it's got to be a positive y. So let's remember that. 2x, how can I move it? Well, we can move the whole thing by subtracting 2x from 2x, and that would equal 0. So I'm left with positive 3y. Now, if I subtract the 2x on the left side of the equation, I need to subtract 2x on the right side of the equation. Let's go ahead and put our x values first. So our coefficient of negative 2 times x. And now what do I do with this positive 4? It's plus 4. And this is what's always caused so much trouble. Most people can get to this stage here, but then when they divided by 3, 3 divided by 3 is positive 1, so the y is by itself there essentially. What I used to teach you was just divide the whole thing by 3. Well, now we're going to take it just a little bit further. Every single number needs to be divided by 3. See this 3 here? I've got to divide this one by 3, and I've got to divide this one by 3. So this becomes negative 2/3 x, and this becomes, well, I can't really make it into anything else other than a fraction, so there we go. And now I know that my slope is negative 2/3, so I would go down 2 and to the right 3, but I need my y-intercept point to actually be able to start, and it will be at 4/3, okay, or 1.3 repeating. And I won't give you anything that's as rough as trying to graph that. I'll stick with the integers and whole numbers if I actually ask you to graph it, but we do need to be prepared of how to find it, and also understand that on a y-axis, let's just say here's 2, here's 1, and there's origin here at 0. Well, 4/3 is the same as 1 1/3, so it'd be about right, maybe about right there, maybe a little taller. So that's where I would put 4/3, and then I would go down 2 spots and over 3, and I'd be putting a dot there and connecting it. Okay. Now, at this point, it'd probably be good if we actually went through a few more practice problems. So let me just go through and show you on the next page what they are. You can pause the video, practice them, and then we'll get you started with your classwork. Here's an assortment of problems. Number 1 is pretty standard for what I've shown you in the examples. Number 2, you need to see if you're going to be able to handle the subtraction sign over here within the equation itself, and also the fact that this is a negative 15. It's not a positive number like what you've been seeing, and it's not the plus sign like you're used to seeing. Down here, I mix it up a little bit. Instead of having both of them being, you know, a minus here and a negative there, I'm still going to keep this one positive and this one be a negative number to see how you handle that. And then number 4, we've not had any type of negative x coefficient yet. And this is your first time you see that. That's a negative 4. And I've still got the plus sign here, but then I still have a negative number over here. So I've thrown in a number of things that you need to take into account. Pause the video, work it through, hit play when you're ready, and find out where you might have made a mistake, or hey, hopefully you didn't make any mistakes. Okay, so let's get the y all by itself. Let's subtract 4x from both sides. Okay, so this will go away. 6y is brought down. Keep in mind this is a plus sign, so this will be a positive 6y. And we need to put our x term first, negative 4x, and that is a positive 24, so I'll say plus 24. Then you can come through and divide by 6. And that's what we do. Every single number, you're just going to divide it by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. See, it's a positive y, so great. That's what we want. Negative 4 6 would simplify down to negative 2/3, and just put an x right there. I know the x is up there with the 4, but look, the negative 4 is times in the x. If we put it negative 4 over 1, that'd be like a negative 4 over 1, or a fraction multiplying the x. So it's okay to just drop this x down to the side. It's fine. And 24 divided by 6 is positive 4, so let's put a plus 4. So that is our equation transformed, and that also lets us see that the slope is negative 2/3. Notice I didn't put the x there. Our slope is just a number, a ratio. And the y-intercept would be positive 4. Okay, so that takes care of number 1. Minus 5x, minus 5x. At this point, this goes away. You see this minus sign though? That's still sitting there in front of the 3. So let's think of it as a negative 3y. And we have to account for that negative. Okay, it didn't go away. Equals x first, so negative 5x minus 15. This is where you should be careful with that negative sign because it's going to change this into a positive when we divide it. So we need to divide by a negative 3, divide this by negative 3, divide this by negative 3. Negative divided by negative is positive. Negative 5/3 becomes positive 5/3. Okay, we can't simplify the fraction, but a negative divided by negative makes both of them positive. And negative 15 divided by negative 3, let's call it plus 5 or positive 5. So there we go. Our slope, I'm not going to write it as 5 over 3, and our y-intercept is 5. Now, for this one's easier than the other ones. How can we get the 3x out of there? Just subtract 3x, and we're left with 7y. Now we can write negative 3x first, minus 49. This was a positive 7y, so I don't need to write that plus sign, but I do know it's positive. 7 divided by 7, divide this one by 7, divide this one by 7. Y equals negative 3/7 x, negative 49 divided by 7. See, I'm thinking of this sign already as making this negative 49. So that equals negative 7. So there we go. And now this one, this is the one that I'm curious to see how most people did. Put this one in blue. How can I make negative 4x go away? Yeah, we need to add it. Okay, because negative 4x plus 4x, it cancels it out. And I'm left with 7y equals negative 14 plus 4x. So now we're able to go through and divide by 7. Because remember, it's a positive 7, so divide by 7, divide negative 14 by 7, divide 4 by 7. And so y equals negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. Ooh, I just realized I made a mistake, and it's, you know, you can go with it, but what I forgot to do was write my x first. I was just going a little too quick, and I could fix it. This canceled out. We pull down our positive 7y, and it equals 4x, positive 4x minus 14. And it's just, when you get in the habit of keeping it in a proper slope-intercept form, it'll help you out. Now we can go and divide everything by 7. And so y equals positive 4/7 x minus 14 divided by 2. Or negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 2. So my y-intercept would be negative 2, and my slope would be 4/7. If you need help graphing, go back and watch my previous video. If you're having trouble transforming it, if this video is causing issues for you, you need to come and see me as soon as possible. We've only got a little bit of time before the test. A lot of this is old material. The only thing that's different is where I'm just having you divide each number by this last part by whatever number's in front of the y. And we need to make sure that you can handle this and move forward, and also put all the other material together in a situation where it's timed and you don't have notes. So just work really hard and come see me as soon as possible if you need help.